Hello, Gitika. I
Yeah,
welcome you to the placement talk with ECA.
yeah.
And this is our first podcast. So I welcome you. And first of all, congratulations on your placement.
Thank you very much.
And would you like to tell us about the company you're placed in and also your profile?
Yes, and I am placed in Qualcomm and I am placed in hardware profile.
Okay, that's great. So, do you like your job? Are you satisfied with your placement?
Yes, I am really very satisfied with my placement because we have a very few companies and then this is one of my dream companies. So I'm definitely very happy with whatever in the company I'm placed with. So I'm completely satisfied with it.
That is amazing. So, can you brief us about the overall selection procedure and all the rounds that you went through to, come to the final shortlist?
Yes. So let me talk about Qualcomm placement rounds. So for placement,
Okay.
we'll be having two technical rounds. Like I had two technical rounds and one HR, and both the technical rounds went for around 2 hours for me. Like each of them was for a span of 2 hours, and they'll be. I mean, after the first technical round, if you're shortlisted, we'll be selected for the second technical round, and then finally we'll be having a HR. So let me tell about each of
Okay.
these rounds in a brief. And in the first technical round, see any interview will be starting with a basic question about tell me about yourself. And since the technical round, they asked me the same question. And one important thing that everyone has to remember during this particular during answering this question is that you only want your technical stuff in technical round. So don't skip from your technical stuff to some extracurricular activities and etc. So try starting with your projects that you mentioned in your resume. So that was what I did too. I started with a brief introduction of myself, and then I stopped with my projects. And since there are two technical rounds, so definitely the tech interviewer will be concentrating on what projects we have done during our during our curriculum. So they asked about my projects, and after I mentioned about those projects, they started questioning about those, like why I chose that projects and what motivated me to choose those particular projects and etc. And one thing I would like to suggest to you people is that when you list your projects in your resume, try listing in order of preference. You feel you have worked well for one particular project, so try placing it in that it at the top, so it will indicate the resume. It will indicate the interviewer that that is one of the main projects amongst all the others. So that was what I did too. Like one main
Okay.
project, what I had, I placed it and in the beginning. So interviewer started questioning from that particular project. So
Okay.
in 2 hours, around 45 minutes, I had discussion about my projects, about what were the tools I used in those
Okay.
particular project, what was something new I learned, and etc. And after that, when you just pause at some particular place, they'll start questioning you from that particular point. So
Yeah, right.
yeah. So he asked me about what was my area of interest, and then I told I'm interested widely in digital, but interested too. So I did projects in both these domains. And
Okay.
thing is, it is of course it depends upon luck too, because he asks you about your area of interest, but it is not that he must be questioning you only from that particular area, because he might
Definitely.
communication and ask too, because I have friends who got questions asked from communication too. So you
Okay.
better if you tell that you're interested in digital rather than or you're comfortable in digital rather than telling that I'm confident in digital, etc. Because if something like that, he would be expecting that you are some master in that particular subject and try asking questions in a more deep.
Okay. So
So this,
if I
yeah,
ask you that for electronics hardware domain,
yeah.
you have to master every subdomains that are there in EC. So is that
Okay.
correct?
Actually, yes, because as of now, we are still in final year. So for us, it is definitely necessary for us to be good in all the particular domains. So I mentioned that I told him that since we had to be clear with all the domains, so I'm comfortable in all of them, but I'm widely interested in digital domain. I mentioned something like that. So he understood that okay, that I'm comfortable with the other domains too, but I'm interested in a particular domain. So you're supposed to
Okay.
priority to that particular person so that he doesn't skip and go to some other domain. And
Yeah, right.
so this was that. And so mainly the question in my first technical round, I had questions from my projects and then basic digital questions. And one thing happened in my technical was the interviewer was not only asking technical questions, but he wanted to divert me. So what he did was he asked me questions. He was just randomly posing, like when I was answering some question, he stopped me and asked me some random HR question, like
Okay.
he was asking that suppose I had to submit some project and tomorrow is the due day and suddenly your software crashed and then all your information is lost, so what would you be doing? So that kind of question was what he asked me. So he was like, the reason behind asking that question was not that whether I answered it correctly or not. He just wanted to see whether I was focused towards him, and whether I was like simply mugging up something and answering to him, or am I flexible with change? Because he was changing the questions in between, and he skipped to HR, which he was not supposed to actually, because being a technical
Right.
interviewer, generally they don't do. It's not he's not supposed to. They don't skip from that particular tech domain to HR domain. So that's the idea behind that. So you people, while answering, should be relaxed and should be able to not stick to a particular thing, but be comfortable with the interviewer. And if you do not understand anything, it would be better if you ask him to repeat. He would definitely repeat the question, but don't try faking the answers. And if you
Right.
know what to answer, it would be politely you can say, "Sir, I'm sorry, I do not have any idea about that particular thing." So that would satisfy him. So a brief thing about what happened during my technical interview one. And afterwards, this all went around for around 1 hour 45 minutes, approximately for 2 hours.
Okay.
And
That's great.
next, moving to my second technical interview. This technical interview was entirely technical. Like not even a single question was something he deviated from tech side. So
Okay.
he wanted me to introduce about myself, and the interviewer at the beginning only mentioned that don't tell me any personal information, just tell me about your projects. So he was
Okay.
specific with that. So
So your projects were a major part of your selection process,
yes, my
right?
projects played a major part. It's not that they were
Okay.
like, I want to mention one more thing. People who do not have
Mhm.
projects don't need to get disheartened, because even people without projects too can get selected if they give their technical and HR well. So don't get disheartened, but
Mhm.
it's better if you utilize the time and try doing some projects, some interesting projects. So that is one small suggestion I want to give. And coming
Okay.
to my technical interview, so he asked me, so he just asked me to talk about all technical things. So I started with my projects, and then I did two projects on Verilog. One was advanced encryption standard algorithm, which I did during the lockdown because I could not grab an intern. So I wanted to do something. So I did something in Verilog because that was a major part in digital, because out of the scripting
Right.
available, we do not have VHDL anyhow, right? And
Mhm.
it is fine if you do not know VHDL too, because that's not being used in industry. So Verilog is,
Yeah, yeah. Verilog is more
yes,
popular.
yes. Verilog is enough, and I would suggest all of you to be confident in Verilog too, because questions are asked only on Verilog, and they do test your Verilog knowledge. So that's the thing. And so he questioned, out of 2 hours, around 1 hour 15 minutes, I had questions from Verilog itself. That was,
Okay. Were you asked to code also, or
yeah, I
just,
was asked to code. Yes, I was asked to code, and
Okay.
he shared his dashboard, and he shared his screen and asked me to code like simple codes, not some big codes, but they'll be asking you to code like write a code for D flip flop, or write a code for
Mhm.
or some sequential, like if you want to detect some particular sequence, like after 101 something else, like
Mhm.
that sequential state machines, right? The FSMs.
Okay. Yeah. FSMs.
Yes,
Right.
yes, yes.
Right.
FSMs, etc. So he'll be giving you like you want to detect 101, and then you want zero to occur after one. So something like that. So those kind of questions
Hmm.
supposed to code, a simple code. He
Okay.
and start from scratch. That is what I want to suggest, because don't directly write your main part of the code until unless he tells you to write the main part. You start from your module,
Okay.
because you have time scale at the beginning, right? So
Mhm.
the time scale directive, and then you can go to module, and it would be better while writing code too. I would suggest
Mhm.
to talk aloud, because it is all online, right? So there'll be
Yeah.
instead of whatever is going on in your mind, just put it out. Like you can tell him that
Mhm.
this particular code starts from a time scale directive, and this the precision, this is this means,
Right. The precision.
etc. Yes. So
Mhm.
then whatever you're typing, just keep telling him that this is for that, and etc. So that he understands that. Like if you give some gap for him, he'll be thinking that you are thinking something else, or you're trying
Mhm.
to get information from some other source, etc. So
Okay,
even
okay.
my interviewer also suggested me to talk, like keep telling, keep speaking loud, whatever you want to put it on your screen. So this is one.
Right.
And then actually he asked me to rate myself in Verilog too. That was one more question he asked. And
Okay, what was your answer?
yeah, I said 8 because I had two projects on Verilog. So he
Mm-hmm.
asked me to rate for 10. I told 8 out of 10. And then
Okay.
I was a bit scared because he said 8. 8 is a very, I mean, 8 is something very big. So let me ask you more deeper questions on Verilog. So be careful,
Okay.
rate yourself. Don't rate yourself too low or too high because the interviewers will ask questions depending upon that. My interviewer
Right.
wanted to ask, like, he was actually skipping a bit to system Verilog. I told him
Mm-hmm.
that, okay, no, we were not taught system Verilog, and I am okay only with Verilog. And he was okay with that. Like, okay, that's fine, he said. But some
Mm-hmm.
little bit of system Verilog basics, I would suggest you people to learn. Like, they will be available online. You can just go through. And
Okay, okay.
I think your DSD sir might be asking you some Viva questions for Verilog, right? Like behavioral, what is procedural assignments, and
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Verilog we are taught, but
yes,
system
yes,
Verilog,
yes. System
uh,
Verilog, okay, it's
we
okay if
study
you're not
online.
taught to. It's fine, it's fine. They'll not generally deviate, but if you have time, it would be better if you refer to that too. And
All right.
yeah, they'll be asking you about different kinds of modelings. Like you have this data flow modeling, etc. Right? So he'll be asking you
Mm-hmm.
to differentiate between them and about different kinds of assignments and writing code. He'll ask you to write code for a D flip flop. For example, if you write a code for half adder using data flow modeling, he'll be asking you to write that using structural modeling, and he'll be asking you the difference between why you chose this kind of modeling, why this kind of modeling is better than the other kind of modeling. So these kinds of
Okay.
questions will be asked. So you better be basic. I mean, one thing I would like to tell is if you're not sure about how questions will be asked on Verilog, it would be better if you interview, like if you Google it, because you can Google like questions, interview questions asked in Verilog. There will be so many sets of questions available. So you can just
Okay.
you'll get an idea about how questions will be asked. So that will be easier for you for practice. And
Hmm.
after that he was like he again asked me about my domain. I mean, was I interested in analog or digital? I again said I am comfortable with digital. So he asked me basic questions on digital, like
Okay.
sequential circuits, on sequential circuits, combinational circuits, and yes, model different gates using mux. I think you can do that, right? Like they'll be asking you to model and gate using 2:1 mux, or gate using
Okay. Okay.
mux, yes. And different, why XOR XNOR gates are called universal gates. I mean, sorry, why NAND and NOR gates are called universal gates, and why not other gates are called universal gates. And these kinds of questions will be asked. And he might also ask you to construct some 4:1 mux using 2:1 mux, write a very low code.
Okay.
And I already told you, right? I had 1 hour 15 minutes questions on Verilog. So
Yeah, right.
digital questions, he was at the same time asking me to code them in Verilog. So, for example,
Okay.
if he was asking me to model some 4:1 mux using 2:1 mux, he was asking me to write the code for that in Verilog too. So,
Hmm.
if you have Verilog projects, I would definitely recommend you people to be strong in Verilog because it is not that difficult. It's like similar to C, and you people can
Yeah, right. Same.
be comfortable with that. So this is one suggestion I can give from my experience. And then basic digital.
All right.
And yes, it depends upon your fate too, because I have my friends who were asked questions completely on communication, though their domain wasn't communication. And though they were selected,
Oh.
because in online test, you'll have three rounds of, I mean, in online test, you'll have three sections.
Oh, right, right. We are coming to online
Yes,
tests.
yes,
So
yes. Yeah. Okay, 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 fine. So,
can you tell about all the the
yeah.
domains which are an online test and what kind of questions are asked there?
Okay, okay. So in online test, we'll be having three sections, and the first section is an aptitude section, which is compulsory for all people attempting for software or hardware domain. And
Okay.
so aptitude section, it has 20 questions, and out of 20 questions, 10 questions will be like they are from some data interpretation or passage will be given, and you'll be asked some 4 to 5 questions based on that. And remaining
Hmm.
8 to 10 questions will be completely quantitative aptitude. And
Okay.
quantitative aptitude is not that difficult. I think you people have already attempted for interns. The questions from quant part will not be that difficult. It would be if you're a beginner and haven't started aptitude yet, I would suggest you people to start from India Bix, and then later
Mm.
for practice, you can refer to R.S. Agarwal for quantitative aptitude too. That book is also a very
Okay.
good book for aptitude, for quantitative
Mm.
aptitude. And one thing I would suggest is, out of these 20 questions, since 8 to 10 questions are from quantitative part, which are not that difficult and not time consuming, so you must be
Mm.
that particular part, because if you finish answering those, I think you'll be given 20 minutes to answer these 20 questions, or yeah, half
Okay.
20 minutes. I'm not sure exactly. So around.
So basically, you're saying this is a very scoring section, and
Yes, 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 exactly. It is a very scoring section, and if you people are fast and fast in solving these 10 questions out of 20 in aptitude, this quantitative part, you can definitely take more time doing the other questions from passage questions, because those passage questions are time consuming, right? So
Mm.
these quantitative part, you people have to practice. I mean, by practice only you can master those. So practice every section, those trains. I think problems on trains, averages, percentages, and profit and loss, pipes and
Mm.
systems. So these are the main topics they concentrate on for quantitative aptitude. And
Okay.
coming to the past,
And the next sections?
yeah, yeah, okay. One more thing I want to tell about this aptitude only. Can I?
Okay, okay, sure, definitely.
So in this passage questions, you'll be having like 10 questions, right? One thing I would like to tell is, in this passage questions, when you move from one question to the other, don't keep reading the passage and sticking to that only. Just keep noting down important points, highlighting those. Just take
Mm-hmm.
important points, that you will not forget what you read earlier for the next questions. So this is a small tip. So you'll get that if you practice. So this is about aptitude. And
Okay.
section is computer. I mean, for computer science section, like C section, basic C. For
Mm.
I don't think they'll be going basic C. Questions will be from basic C. I think some one or two from OS and computer architecture, but major
Mm.
part will be C. And for C, it would be sufficient if you concentrate on pointers, arrays, structures, and then basic strings, and little bit of data structures basics too. Obviously people will learn that during the second year, so you can answer these. And
Mm.
code snippets will be asked, outputs of those particular codes will be asked. You can refer to Geeks for Geeks, and you have many code snippets you can practice. And this section is a bit confusing, because options will look similar, and then you have to be quick in answering, and you have to be perfect with the concepts, that you don't miss between options. And C
Right.
section, I don't think I have to more, because you people might definitely be preparing for software too, so it'll be easier this section. And for placement point of view, C section will have computer architecture, some 2 3 questions, and operating systems you'll have 2 3 questions. So operating systems,
Okay.
we are not taught more. I mean, even in your computer architecture, where you'll be having as a department elective too, that much depth won't be taught, but that will be asked in placement C section questions. So I would ask you, suggest to refer to operating systems too, and basic
Okay.
C. And then
All right.
coming to the last section, yes, yes, coming to the last section, we have 3 options. You can choose either digital section, or communications, or computer science section. So since I applied for a
Okay.
hardware program, not interested in communications, I chose digital section. So you will
Digital.
have,
Okay.
yes, you will have 20 questions from, majority will be digital, and I don't think very few questions will be from analog, and
Mm.
majority digital. You need to concentrate on topics like sequential circuits, combinational circuits, and they'll be giving some simple combinational logic, and they'll be asking you the output expression. So you should be fast in minimizing those expressions using Carnot maps, etc. And then questions on
Okay.
flip flops, questions on counters. So these will be the majority part. And coming to the analog part, actually, I don't think they'll be asking more. But during your second year, I think your EDC one, you will have some questions from semiconductors, right? You have some big formulae. So it would
All
be better
right.
if it would be better if you refer to those formulae, because this is in the exam, you're not supposed to carry calculators. So answers, they'll
Mm.
not give you the final answer in the option. Maybe some expression kind of thing will be given. So if you arrive to that particular
Okay.
step, enough. And for that, you
Mm.
need this formulae for analog part. So
Okay.
I think this would be sufficient.
Yeah, and the questions are multiple choice type, right?
Yes, yes, everything is multiple. You have
MCQs.
60 questions, multiple choice questions.
Yeah, so speed plays a very important role, right?
Yes, yes, exactly. Very important role, and you should be able to manage time and skip questions which you know are easy but time consuming, and answer them at the last.
Okay.
In this,
Yeah, right.
you can slide between questions, right? You cannot slide between sections, but you can slide between questions. So I would prefer you people to answer easy questions first, and then depending upon time, go to the go to the questions which are difficult or time consuming.
Okay, so this was a very, rigorous process of selection. So
Yes.
congratulations on being
Yes,
selected once again.
yes, yes,
So
exactly. Rigorous
first,
process, and yes, because you have people from for hardware profiling, especially you have people from ECE and Triple E. I think around more than 150, 200 people will be writing online tests, and out of those, they'll be shortlisting very few. For interns, I guess around eight or
oh God.
and even in around eight people. Last time for interns, we were only eight shortlisted. We got shortlisted for the next rounds, and even in placements also for hardware profile, hardly seven or eight we were shortlisted for interviews. So this is the
Okay.
test where they are going to filter out everyone. So section wise cutoffs will be there, as far as I know, because if you answer C section and you're completely done with all 20 questions and you do not answer your digital or apti questions, you'll be lost. So you have to ensure that you at least answer 10 questions in each of these sections, where you pass a minimum cutoff. So section wise cutoff will be considered, and while answering. So keep that in mind while you answer your sections.
Okay, okay.
Yes.
So right from your OT to your two technical interviews to your HR, how was your experience overall?
Yeah, OTs. I was actually I practiced rigorously for OTs because I already told you, right? They are going to filter out mini candidates for OTs. So during all this lockdown, I've been practicing completely for OTs because that is the first step. Interviews will be
Right,
only
right, right.
qualify in OT, right? So uh, I started for Apti part. I started from India Bix, and then after developing my speed and being able to answer those all kinds of questions from each section, I moved to RS Agarwal. I solved few questions from RS Agarwal too, and
Okay,
there is one more site called Pariksha.co. So I think
okay.
Pariksha.co also you have questions from aptitude, and see you can practice from that particular site too. That helps a lot. And so once I was confident that I am done with the basic preparation for APTI, I moved to different sites. I surfed and I started practicing questions just to increase my speed. So
Okay.
one important thing I did. And coming to C section, I think there is a book called Let Us See. I don't remember the order, but that book has basics of all these arrays and all. Like they'll be giving you like this. If this is the case, this will be the output. So that's that kind of explanation will be given. I'll be sending
Okay.
like I'll be mailing you that book if I'll check it later and tell you about the.
Okay, sure, sure, sure.
But
We will
let us
share.
see. Let us see is the name of the book, and
Mhm.
you can also refer to different websites. You can go to different. GFG is a very good site. You can have different questions because once
Definitely.
with the concepts, you must be able to answer the questions too, right? So would be developing your speed only if you answer different kinds of multiple choice questions, because you should know how questions are asked. So I
Okay.
just from GFG and also from Pariksha.co. And coming to digital, I refer to like I make good notes. Like I made notes from my second year. So I think
Okay.
Srinagar's notes for analog is more than enough. And then digital, we have a basic book called Maurice Mano. So
Yes, that is very famous.
yes, yes, very famous book. And I think your sir also might have given assignments from those books. So
Yeah.
yeah,
And assignments as in
yeah.
together 40 to 50 questions, like not like 10 or 12.
Oh God, yeah, yeah, yeah. I know, I know. We also
So,
had the same. I mean, he used to give us the same. He also
okay, okay.
asked us to solve. So that is really good because once you clear the concepts, you must be able to answer those questions quickly, right? So answering different kinds of questions in that book would definitely increase your speed. And there is one more site called Niso Academy, where if you're not clear with the basics, you can refer to this particular site, Niso Academy, because it has so many videos, and you'll be clear with each and every small concept once you refer to this particular site. And yes,
All right.
I forgot mentioning something. Even this
Mm-hmm.
that network subject is also very important. Network analysis, and
Okay, okay.
yes, yes, they'll be asking you questions from transient analysis. Maybe not
Hmm.
interns, but at least in placements you'll have one or two questions from
Okay.
transient analysis. So in NISO Academy too, there is a particular. Out of all the videos available, you can just surf for videos on transient analysis, and you can solve
Hmm.
questions on that, or you can also
Okay.
gate problems on transient analysis. That would be enough because you'll be taught transient analysis right during your 2-1. So
Yeah, yeah. We have network analysis in
yes,
two
yes,
months.
yes, yes. So it will not be that difficult, but for practice point of view, you can refer to this particular website and you can practice problems, gate problems. That would be enough for networks. You don't need to go too deep in that particular subject. So
Okay, okay.
this was how I prepared, and then this all about my preparation procedure was this.
And that sounds really, enough to get a placement like this.
Yes,
So
yes,
yeah, that is amazing. So you have mentioned a lot of resources for your juniors to refer from, and that is very amazing.
yes,
So
my
I
pleasure.
Yeah, I hope all of us will be able to follow that. And one last thing I would like to ask you is, do you have any one-liner advice or a quote for your juniors, which which is the way you decide your future to be?
Okay.
So,
So first thing, let me tell you something, because after my second year, like when I started, after first year when you enter EC, you will be totally confused about what is happening, because there is a lot of hectic schedule for us already, and then so we'll be in a confusion, and you also have data structures in 2-1, so we'll be confused
mhm.
whether we have to choose a hardware path or a software path, something
Yes,
like that.
yes.
So this question definitely arises in all of us. So it arose in me too, and then I started developing a zeal for digital and analog since 2-1, and then
Hmm.
so I made up my mind that I should definitely go in hardware profile only. And then after my two,
Okay,
I did a project under one of our sirs, Sri Hari Rao sir. I mean,
okay.
this summer I stayed in college and did a project for a span of 2 months, and that
Hmm.
design of analog integrated circuits using Cadence tool, which that tool will actually not be taught for us BTech students, but he
Okay,
assigned that project to me, so I was supposed to learn that tool and do a project, so that more that actually that thing increased the zeal in me towards this hardware side. And then after
okay.
second year, I practiced, like I know you people, you must be knowing now it how you practice for your interns, because it is something,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and people, you'll be definitely confused about how you must start your preparation with, and etc. I also had the same confusion during the preparation for my interns, but then
Mhm.
like I should first start my preparation for hardware, so I started preparation for hardware, like how I already told you, these were the sources I started for intern preparation too. And then
Mhm.
after I entered college, like when 3-1 started, I was shortlisted for Qualcomm, and then after the HR round, like 5 of us were selected, and they eliminated me, like only 4 were selected after the HR. So that was
Okay.
that was how I missed intern in Qualcomm. And after that too, I thought Texas would be coming and few more other companies would be coming, but then there were no hardware companies. And I would definitely tell you that there will not be more hardware companies for interns. For placements,
Mhm.
you have a good number of companies, not that not equal to software, but then you have good number of companies. You have more
Yes, yes.
of getting placed rather than getting interns. And then we
Mhm.
had Qualcomm, and then we had one more company, Analog Devices. And Analog Devices, not like how it came to campus for you this time. It was like we had to go to BITS Hyderabad and take our test there. And
Okay.
of course, they did not shortlist any one of us because their profile was completely different, and there was some. So we were not shortlisted for Analog Devices either. And then next company which came was SanDisk, and SanDisk is also similar to Qualcomm. Yes, I would like to tell about that.
Mhm.
I attempted an online test for SanDisk, similar to
Okay.
Qualcomm, but SanDisk will have questions from analog too. I'm stressing on
Okay.
this, it is different from Qualcomm. It has questions
Hmm.
from analog part too, like from transient analysis, from BJTs, etc. So you have to
Okay.
prepare those concepts too. And SanDisk, I think you'll have only 10 aptitude questions, and not like Qualcomm, you'll not be having any kind of passage questions and aptitude questions. I can confidently tell, because I'm sure I have attempted all the 10 questions right, because they're all from quantitative aptitude, and you can definitely clear aptitude section easily. So you have to be able to clear your computer science sections and digital sections. This will be the procedure
Okay.
of SanDisk actually. And then
Okay.
the
Okay.
company which came for interns was ETM Systems, and ETM
Hmm.
Systems does not conduct any kind of online test. There will be interview shortlisting, and yes, ETM Systems concentrates on people with pointers from between 7 to 8. They are going to
Okay. Okay.
from pointers from 7 to 8
That's
itself.
that's really nice.
Yes, yes, yes. But one thing, the same thing happened like last time. They selected 5 people who had pointers between 7 to 8, like 7.3, 7.8, etc. And after that, they again called suddenly. We got a mail. I mean, we were also called again. Like I had a pointer of 9.1 that time, so I was also called for the interview. And then they again shortlisted 4 more from who had pointers between 8 to 9. So
Okay.
we were also called, but they selected only one guy who had around, I think he had more than 8.5 pointers. So it,
Hmm.
I cannot tell you that people who have 8 to 9 pointers should not apply for the CTM systems, because everything happens that you apply and make. There are chances that you also might get selected, And
Hmm.
Systems is a company which gives a definite PPO. If I'm not wrong, it's going to select only
Okay.
going to offer PPO for them. And
Okay.
questions will be like basic digital and computer science questions too. They'll be asking you to write algorithms too. So
Okay. Okay.
with software too can apply for ATM systems. It's not a hardware profile. People must apply for that. And
Okay. That was very wholesome talk with you. So
okay,
yeah, I really enjoyed talking to you about all of this, and for sure, like to all the listeners who are listening to us right now, this journey is going to be a really roller coaster type of journey. Like
yes,
Geetika mentioned,
yes,
that there are a lot
exactly.
of filtering rounds and a lot of knockout rounds, and you have to be confident throughout your internship and placement drives.
True, true. Yes, yes,
Yeah. So, from what I conclude from her talk is that be confident with your preparation,
yes.
and once you're done with your preparation, then just go for it, right?
True, completely, exactly.
Okay. So,
That prepare confidently and attempt confidently and do confidently in your interviews. So this is what I
okay. That is amazing. So, thank you so much, Gitika, for joining us and
yes,
giving a lot of helpful advices. And I hope that all of us will be able to follow all the resources that you mentioned and all the tips that you gave.
yeah.
So,
Thank
all
you.
the best to my friends and to my seniors, juniors, and everybody who's sitting for placements and interns. And all the best to you, Gitika, for your future.
Thank you very much. And for you people,
Hope to see you soon.
for your placements and upcoming interns.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So that's it about it. And do join us for further podcasts and posts. And stay tuned on the official pages of ECA. Thank you.